Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me out here in my garage studio. I guess if I count my garage as another studio, I'm a lucky man. I have 3 studios in my house, upstairs, downstairs, and out in the garage. If you've seen me earlier this weekend, you know that I'm creating a stack of 20 abstract paintings this weekend. And showing you right now, if you want to watch some of the other episodes, I just did one on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dan the Artman. But thanks for watching me here. So this is a painting that's not going terribly well at the moment. And this is one of my paintings that, abstract painting that turned into actually a vague representational painting. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that, by the way. I'm not a huge fan of quote-unquote abstract. Literally, the technical term is non-objective. That means it's not a painting of an object. All paintings are abstract, but now I'm getting too deep. Never mind. We'll just leave it there. I'm not a big fan really of quote-unquote abstract paintings that go representational. I know a number of really good abstract painters, love their work, but almost all the time, whenever they slide over into, well, let's put a picture of something, this or that, a landscape or a figure or something, usually, I don't know, I don't think it's just me. I think usually their work, I like their non-objective stuff better. Anyway, but here I'm doing it myself. You get the point? This is true confessions time. Here I am doing abstract paintings, and what showed up in this one, and I fought it for a while and then I just decided to quit fighting. What showed up in this one was bubbles. So this is evidently an underwater scene. No, I am not going to do any fish or mermaids, although that would be fun, but that would be a different project altogether. But there are bubbles, so is it still is it still a non-objective painting? Very good question. And with the last couple of paintings, here's one of the tricks I've been employing, is I put a dark glaze over the whole thing, and then am coming in, I can't reach it that high very well, so let me do this, coming in and lifting out some of that glaze with a rag. So very much experimenting here. Don't really know what I'm doing. Don't tell anybody that. So I suppose if I'm doing water, it really does make sense for there to be this, you know, the sun is up there, the sun is coming from that direction. That makes sense in the water, doesn't it? So let me experiment with having all these streaks coming from the same direction, going the same direction. And of course, getting deeper, so getting darker. How much of that shall I do? That is the question. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And let's see if there's anything else I should do while I am lifting up paint. So this painting is certainly not finished. I've got at least one more layer to go, probably 2. There's a new bubble, a new way of making bubbles. So these things these things turned into bubbles sort of by accident earlier. One of the fun parts of this painting is, so far I've come up with at least 5 different ways of rendering the bubbles, which is quote unquote good painting. And I'm sure I'm going to come up with more before I'm all finished. Now I think I could probably work on this a little bit more without waiting for that to dry. So let me try that. I can put some white paint down here on my butcher pan, whatever that thing's called. Butcher pan? Is that it? I think so. And I think I can do some plain old-fashioned brush painting here. Not crazy about that stroke. Maybe I can fix it. Yeah, that's better. Much more interesting. There we go. That's kind of nice. Here's an idea. Instead of using brushes, there's another way. This is a fine line applicator. And let's just make sure it's working. Yep. Put those brushes in the water just for a minute. And use this to create really fine lines. If some of you have followed me before, just on my regular painting technique, you know that I talk a lot about interesting marks. The essence of good painting, the act, the essence of painting, the verb, is making interesting marks. That is certainly the case here. It's more important that these marks are interesting than it is that they look like bubbles. Now, interesting doesn't just mean messy, but it tends toward messy as opposed to tight and accurate, because what we really like to say, another way of saying the same thing, that good painting is the act of making interesting marks. What we really like to see is that a human being was here and a human being made these marks, and made them rather intentionally. And as I like to say, whether the human being's mind was in a good mood or not when he made the marks, his hand was in a good mood. Splitting hairs here. So we like to see marks that a human being made, and they're quote-unquote happy marks. The ghost of Bob Ross just showed up in the room, folks. Happy little marks. Bob Ross's best art quote was happy little accidents. That is a great description of good painting. Okay, let me turn this right side up and see how that's working. Yeah, not bad. think I will probably come in here later and add a little bit of color, at least green. There's already a hint of green there. And maybe even something else. I think I'm going to give this one spatter of white before I go, and then I'll move on to another painting. Okay, here we go. One spatter. Oh, that's too much. Here, by the way, I just violated one of my own rules. I'll fix that later. Here's a trick, especially if you're working in acrylics. This is what I just did not do just then, I wish I had. Wait until everything is dry and then do a splatter. So if you get too much splatter, you just take a damp rag and wipe everything off before it dries. But I can't wipe this off now because it's all wet underneath. It'll be all right. I just have to do some glaze on top of this stuff down here because it's way too intense down here. So I'll do that next. creating work for myself. Let me put this down to dry and pick up another problem child before you go. You can watch me struggle with two of them. Let me pick one here that I'm not crazy about. I've got more than I like. More than I like to admit that I'm not crazy about. Okay, here's one. Not crazy about. It's I don't know which way it goes. I think it goes that way. Okay, obviously some interesting stuff going on. Let's see what the back looks like. Oh, look at bubbles on the back. How about that? I just finished doing bubbles. And if you buy one of these paintings, they'll be going on sale. Maybe you've already heard this. Probably tomorrow on Facebook. I'll put announcements on Instagram and YouTube and so forth. But to place a bid, you'll have to go to Facebook/Dan the Art Man. And when you do, you get side A and side B free. So if you want, you could make a frame, get a frame that you could stick this in the back and switch depending on the time of the year and so forth. So pretty good deal, I think. The backside are paintings I did last year that just didn't sell. So rather than go buy a whole bunch of new panels, I just decided to use the backside. Okay, what to do with this one? I've been doing a lot of dark glazes and then brushing through them. But that really wouldn't work on this dark. This is a black canvas to begin with, a black panel. So it might be the only thing I can do here. Is more of what's already here. The warm fuchsia red pink stuff. I'm going to try that anyway. I'm going to start just doing some yes, I'm going to brush that. Brush that around a little bit. Now let me introduce some orange. Now, what I see myself doing on the next layer on this one, I think the composition is a little more interesting now than it was a few minutes ago. What I see myself doing next is coming in here with opaque black, and etching, carving into this light shape. and getting some interesting layers going on. Okay, but I'm going to call that done for the moment. That won't be dry for probably an hour, so I've got plenty to do though in the meantime. Plenty of other stuff to do. Set this out here in the breeze. Sun's not shining today, but it is breezy, so that'll help dry things. And while I'm at it, I don't know if you have time for any more, but I'm going to pull up another medium problem child. This has some really nice things happening, but I'm not a big fan of these shapes right here. Reminds me of 7th grade biology class. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, now that I said that, that's all you can see, right? But I'm going to do a glaze on top of this. It's going to be warm fuchsia-ish glaze. Probably fading to purple at the bottom and fading to orange-yellow at the top. Let's see what happens here. Slopping paint all over everywhere. My garage definitely looks like a paint studio, because I paint out here just often enough to get paint all over everything. So don't loan me any tools unless you want paint on them. I'll sign them if you want. Painting by Dan Nelson on your drill. I'm kidding. I don't want to borrow anybody's tools anyway. Turn this around where I can reach it better and do some Indian yellow up here at the top. So I'm basically just reinforcing the colors that were already predominant on this canvas, darkening everything, which of course then gives me the opportunity to come back and reapply light stuff. And I just thought of what I can do about these lines that I'm not crazy about, and the answer is pretty much just add more lines of a different character alongside, in some way, interacting with these lines, so that these don't look so much like sperm. Sorry. Some of you didn't know what I meant by 7th grade biology, and how I just messed you all up. Okay, that's pretty. It's a really pretty color. Do I want to do something in while it's wet? Do I want to do the scratching off thing again? I think I probably do. Some fine lines, perhaps. Yeah? Yeah, fun. Particularly nice up there, up at the top. That's a nice effect. Let me do a little bit more up there. Okay, hang on just a second. My makeshift easel. There we go. Makeshift easel shifted on me. I'm not crazy about that last mark that I made, so I'm going to try to do something difficult, which is diminish it. Not too bad. I think it would be better if I add some yellow in here. There we go. Yeah, nice to be able to fix things. Most mistakes are not that easily fixed. Okay, now I'm going to, I think, lay that aside, let that dry. Again, unless I want to do something else. I keep saying that, don't I? Do I want to do something else? Yes, I do. I want to get these grease pencils out. And while the paint is still wet, because then the pencil will actually have a double effect. It'll make a black line, but it also pushes the wet side, the wet paint aside. You know, snow plows it out of the way, so that I get a double effect for a single stroke. Good economy. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. I don't have to finish it right now. And that's probably a good time for me to leave you. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll be back later today, I'm sure. Thanks so much. Bye.